Okay, everybody, this is a 1948 Royal Quiet Deluxe, and it has like the crinkle finish. It's the black, but it's the matte look. It kind of has the little texture on it. And so I'm going to go over this. We're going to do a tutorial video. I'm just going to show it off a little bit. And for those of you who want to see more of how it types, there's a link in the description below that'll take you to the original product listing. And there you'll see a demo video where one, you can find the picture of the type sheet, and then also you can see it in action. But we're going to take a look at this one. This was obviously manufactured right post-war. It took a break and during the war years, and then it started back up in 1947. This one's in 1948. This is a Model A. Has the early magic margin, and it's only on the left side. I'm not a huge fan of magic margins. If you've seen my videos before, I think it was just a waste of time and effort on their part. But okay, anyway. Back here are your tabs. There should be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 on this one. And this particular one, they're still moving, but they're a little stiff. And so you just move them and set them where you would like them to be. Okay, so let's set this back down. And this is a smaller portable. This is still, it's not as small as like the Model O or Model B. So I don't call it an ultra portable by any means, but it's still small enough that if you wanted to take it with you to the coffee shop or something, it would still work really well. It's not too big and clunky. I love that it has the glass keys. And if you saw my last video with the Royal Model P that also had glass keys, you know that I'm a huge fan of glass keys. I love how they feel on my fingers, especially, you know, against the little chrome outlines on them. And these look really, really good. So this one, I already did the tabs back here. Here's your margins. So this flips back. And did you know that we had been selling typewriters for like a year and a half before I knew that these things flipped over? It's silly. Anyway, nobody told me. And one day I happened to push on it and I was like, what? Anyway. Okay. So here's your margins, but this one has a spring on it because it's attached to this magic margin. So I will show you that in just a moment. Over here on the right side is your carriage release is the little one underneath, and then the paper release is the one on top. And the carriage release on the left side is under the handle. It's right here. And it doesn't matter which one, both of them work. And your return handle, here's your magic margin. This is your line selector. And then this is the release for your roller or your platen. So some people call it, variable spacing. Since I don't do the repairs, I'm not entirely sure, but I think this also releases it so you can remove it. But I don't do any of that. I don't remove stuff because I don't want to break anything. That's all my husband. All right. Anyway, so variable spacing comes in handy because when you're turning this platen, your roller, it clicks every half of a line. And sometimes you kind of want it right in between there. And so you can use this variable spacer to line up your paper exactly where you want. And since we're talking about paper, let's load some. But first, this is your paper guide. So let's say you're doing a postcard, you want to line it up in the same place. Or if you have a multiple page project, you must use your paper guide, because if you don't, you're going to line up your paper. Even if your margins are in the same place, you're going to set your paper somewhere different. So that paper guide is really handy. Set it where you want. Put your paper there, turn the handle. And so the paper goes right behind the roller for those that don't know. And you don't have to shove it in there. You just set it there, turn the handle. It'll pull that through. If it doesn't, then that usually means you have a really hard platen, or there's rollers underneath that get flat, and you'll just need to take that to a repair person. And we do have a small repair directory on our website, jotandtittletypewriters.com, and you can see if anybody's in your area, but it is not a complete directory by any means. Okay, well, you can see that my paper is crooked, and so that's where this paper release comes in. I'm going to pull that forward, straighten out my paper, and then re-engage. That's really important. Otherwise, your paper is going to slide around. And then also make sure your paper is underneath this metal bar. That keeps that taut against your roller. Otherwise, it's going to be like slap, 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 because there's going to be air underneath. But so that metal bar does come in handy. Okay, now that we've got the paper in, I'm going to move the carriage to the left. We're going to open the top, and the way to open it, be careful though, because some royals, not this particular one, so it doesn't matter, but some royals you can press the logo and it pops open, or there's a button here, but this one has neither. So I'm just going to put my hand right here in the middle, pull it open, and inside you're going to find the typing basket, escapement area. This is where your ribbon spools are going to go. I'm going to lift this up so you can see that spool area. Also, there's a picture of this on that product listing I mentioned before. Again, the link for that is down below, and that will help you load your ribbon. These just pop out, okay? Super simple. And they're a 2-inch spool with a 1/2-inch ribbon, and that is the standard size for a universal ribbon. That's what you're gonna want for your Royal Model A typewriter, and they're really easy to find. Obviously, you can find them on our website at jotandtittletypewriters.com. But you can find them around, and you can find different colored ribbons if you like that. But the standard is black and red, or black only. Some people prefer black only. You get double the use out of it. So when you load it, make sure black is on the top, red is on the bottom, and the ribbon needs to go around the top and around the back and underneath. That's how it threads. Same with this side, around the top, back, underneath. And then as far as through the guide wires, the best thing I can tell you is look at that up close photo I have for you on the product listing, and it'll help you thread it in there properly. There's slits, and on this one, the slits happen to be on the top of the guide wires. So you're gonna, I suspect this one, you're gonna come underneath and over, but I'm not gonna take the ribbon out because it's very messy. And so keep that in mind. You'll wanna have something like an apron on, and then like a wet rag or something, because you will get ink everywhere. When you get to the end of the ribbon, it's not the end of the ink, and so you reverse the direction of your ribbon here, and then you just go back and forth until you use up all the ink in your ribbon. So right now, I think that's the direction. Oh, no, there we go. And then this direction. So you're just gonna go back and forth until all that ink is used up. Now, and I know this is really crooked, so let's straighten it out. That's your colors, that's your ribbon reversal back and forth there. This is touch control, and that just determines how hard these tight bars, that's a tight bar right here. See that? That's a tight bar. It just determines how hard these are gonna strike your paper. And then also it determines, like, I have a really light hand when I type, and my husband has a really heavy hand. So you're gonna wanna set it based on you, what your tension is, and if somebody else types on it, they'll have a different setting. I personally don't find a whole lot of difference, but you can try it on your typewriter. This is your color selector. Right now it's on red. There's white in the middle. Oh wait, hold on a second. Mine are worn out. So red, That looks like it used to be black, and the very end is white. And to get to the white, you have to press down and over. You don't want to use the white. That's for stencil. If your setting is on the white, it's not going to type properly. It's not going to be striking the paper. It looks like it's striking the paper, but really it's not. So, and it's not going to, the ink, the ribbon's not coming up, and so it's not going to imprint on it. And if there's any imprint, that's just because there's a little bit of ink left over on your type bar. So if your typewriter's not typing properly, 2 things to check. Make sure it's not on the white and instead on the red or the black, and reverse the direction of your ribbon. 9 times out of 10, that's going to be one of the issues. Okay. Down here, again, we've got our glass keys. I showed you that you set your tabs on the back end here, and so there's your tab button right there. There we go. Backspace is here on the left side. Backspace does not erase. You have your lock, your shift, I'm sorry. So lowercase to uppercase, numbers to symbols, that's what this is for. And to lock it is the round one. And you just press that down. To release, press, oh, it's not releasing. You should be able to press this again and have it release. There we go. So for some reason mine was not releasing, but you should be able to press this a second time and have it release. Okay, so there's really not anything, oh, margin release. So when you set your margins, let's go ahead and do the magic margins. So right now, we're gonna set our left margin, which is the side of the typewriter. And here's my magic margin. And right now it's right here. Maybe I want it to go further out. So I'm gonna hold this in while I move the carriage. Don't let it go. Put it where you want and then release both of them. And now my left margin is further out. Now let's say I wanna go in. Say right here, and now I don't need to do anything with the carriage. But just press that forward. Actually, yeah, press that forward and that should set it. It sort of set it. There it goes. It actually went back a couple of spaces. But anyway, that's how your magic margin works. So now it's here. Again, to move it out, I'm gonna pull it in. And while I'm holding that, I'm gonna release my carriage. And now my margin is here. On this one, it feels a little loose, like it's gonna waver by a few spots. And then the right margin is right here. Move that in. So let me make a narrow, I'm gonna bring my margin in to maybe here. Oops, didn't do it. There, now it did it. All right. So that is how you do it. So I am gonna end this typewriter demo video and showing you the margin release. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna type a couple sentences. So one, you can hear how it sounds. You can see how the margin release works. And then because I got a request and I'll do it, I'll take the paper out and kind of let you see the type on it, okay? So now I'm gonna do the margin release because it stopped on me. And let me do one more. The ink isn't very, there we go. I just need to move my ribbon over a little bit. Let's try this again. And there is the type for you. All right, thanks so much for watching. Again, I sure appreciate your thumbs up and your subscriptions, your notifications, and visit us at jotandtittletypewriters.com.